Why is community engagement a focus that you should have within your marketing plan and use as a marketing strategy? And so a lot of folks don't really recognize or realize that community engagement does affect your revenue as well as your public image. And when it comes to revenue and revenue generation, we already know that marketing is the first step to create awareness about your product or service for someone to buy it. And so when we're looking at marketing, we can see community engagement as a brand awareness strategy. We're going to talk about how this brand awareness strategy is going to help you not only generate more leads, but put you in a position to cross promote. And so we don't want money to be left on the table as a business because we're not maximizing community engagement as a brand awareness strategy and not getting local support to do the marketing through word of mouth for you, to make those introductions for you. We're going to talk about how do we make that happen. And so before we get into getting someone as a resident or community group to know, like, or trust you, I want to make sure that you click the link to take advantage and get a copy of my free 5-step checklist as well as free 35-minute webinar on how to build working relationships for your business needs. Because what we're going to talk about here, you can find in detail, not only in the checklist, but also in the webinar. And so when it comes to community engagement and brand awareness, you have, in dealing, especially dealing with local residents and community groups, you have to make sure these residents and community groups know you, like you, and trust you. And so if you have residents saying, "Hey, we don't know this company. They've been in this neighborhood for X amount of time, and we don't know them, and they don't care about us because they've never taken the time out to get to know us." That could be seen, especially if the media gets involved, if your brand gets into a crisis situation, or no matter how, the scale. You don't want the media to ever get in front of a resident or community groups and say your brand has not taken time out to help the community, to get to know the community, because the community residents and community groups are always going to look at, hey, this business, which is designed to make money and to be an asset, is in our neighborhood where we work hard, and they're making money, and we could be in a position where we're not making money or we're going through challenges, and they just don't care about us. And if the news gets whiff of that and it gets aired, you're going to get more challenges than successes. And you might be thinking, if you're a business to business model company, that, hey, we don't need to focus too much on community engagement because our prospects aren't even in this area. Again, you don't want to put yourself in a position where there's negative public relations that come out, and the news actually gets in front of these community residents and community groups, and they're saying, regardless if they're B2B, they haven't had a chance to get to know us. They're not trying to get to know us because that's good content for the media. And if it goes any further, as far as that public relations, it will eventually spill over to the local elected officials, in which, because they want to get reelected, they're going to do everything they can to make it, to show that they're in support of the community, even though they may have taken your money for the election. At the end of the day, the people indirectly and possibly directly have the power. And once that public relations gets involved, at that point, it's about what you've done, not what you're going to do. And I say that because when it comes to people, residents or community groups getting to know you, and first of all, when it comes to the 5-step checklist and webinar, there's an area in there that says you have to become an extrovert. So if you're not used to talking with people or uncomfortable with getting out and connecting with people, then you need to take a look at that relationship management information so that you can go ahead and put yourself in a position to become an extrovert so that you can maximize your return. And so when it comes to getting to know people, you have to be comfortable with not only getting out there and connecting with people, but you have to be comfortable with receiving information that may not be as positive, because you got to realize that community groups and residents may not be used to private sector brands or representatives approaching them unless they want something that's going to be a benefit to the private sector brand. And so a lot of times, because they're going to be indirectly shocked for the first time that you're reaching out to them as a private sector brand, they're going to want to give you a piece of their mind. And it may not always be positive. But the fact that you put yourself in a position to introduce yourself and wanting them to get to know you, I'm letting you know through experience, the residents, even though they may not show it, will appreciate you reaching out to them. And they're going to give you more leeway than another brand that may do the same services or provide the same products as you, but guess what? They never took time out to get to know them. They'll at least say, well, you know what? At least these guys, even though we don't like them, got a chance to try to get to know us. And when it comes to the media, that's going to always make you look good because you tried to get to know the community residents and the private sector brands. And so if you're a business to business model business, you might think, okay, well, I don't need to get to know my residents because or the local residents or community groups because our prospects aren't in this area. But again, those residents are going to look at you, those community groups are going to look at you as your asset. Your business making money is in our neighborhood, in our community where we have to work hard every day and we're not as successful as you. And you don't want the media to get in front of that and to push that narrative because that's good content. And you don't want to get the elected officials involved because they're going to always support the community residents and the community groups, even though they may have taken your dollars to get elected, because the people will always have the power, especially when it comes to media and elected officials, for the most part. And so you got to get out there and get in front of them, make your presence known, and allow them to share with you their challenges and what a working relationship would look like. And guess what? That's going to be the first step for residents and community groups to like you, simply because you were present and you listened and you offered advice of how you can help after they explained their challenges to you. And they're going to like you. And if you're able to follow through with what you say you can do to build a working relationship, that's going to be the next step to become successful, to generate more revenue, and to create a strong public image. And guess what? When they like you because you're consistent, you got a chance to know them, and you're following through on your word, they're going to trust you. And they're going to be able to advocate on your behalf to the other community groups and residents. And don't let these community groups or residents be influential because what they say counts for a lot. And so when it comes to real estate development, you're going to have support through these influential community groups and residents. Or if you are a local business looking to drive more traffic to your business, you're going to get more support. Or if you are an employer looking for more applicants, you're going to have local residents and community groups driving traffic to you. And that's basically a referral marketing strategy where you don't have to use as much money to get the word out because you have people in the community, groups in the community doing the work for you as far as promotion. And their credibility will always go a lot further than your marketing strategies because they're the ones in the trenches, being residents and community groups. So these are simple things and steps for you to consider and recognize how community engagement is a way for you to increase or decrease revenue, as well as increase or decrease your public image. And so if you want more advice on community engagement, or you're looking for community engagement outsourcing, especially in urban areas to get the job done for you, make sure you reach out to us. We're available and we look forward to helping you improve your brand.